Hi there, Bedtime Book Club friends. How are you? Welcome to Miss Heather's Bedtime Book Club. We have an extra book club tonight. We do. My very sweet friend and my boss just recently took a summer vacation. Have you taken a summer vacation? Did you go somewhere special and do something fun? Maybe go visit a family member and swim, or go camping or do something like that? She did that, and she went to a beach, a very special beach where they have wild horses. And she brought back this amazing book that I want to share with you. And you are getting notified because you liked the video down below. It's so easy. So please make sure to keep liking the video so we know that you like what we're doing and that we can bring you more. So there is a place called Corolla, and it's on the Outer Banks, and wild horses live there. And they are taken care of, and we can't pet them, but we need to make sure that we're helping to take care of them. And this story is kind of about them. So I would love to share it with you if you would love to read it with me. Are you ready? Yeah. Before we get started though, want to sing our song? Okay, here we go. If you're ready to read the story, clap your hands. If you're ready to read the story, clap your hands. If you're ready to read the story, then you'll really want to hurry. If you're ready to read the story, clap your hands. If you're ready to read the story, please sit down. If you're ready to read the story, please sit down. If you're ready to read the story, then you'll really want to hurry. If you're ready to read the story, please sit down. Excellent job singing. Did you notice my pajamas? It's a unicorn. It's the closest thing to a horse that I have. And these wild horses that live in Corolla can only be seen by taking special tours, as they're protected. So we need to make sure that we are taking care of animals and doing all those things. So I can't wait to share this story with you. These horses are very special, just like you are. And let's find out why. This book is called The Adventures of Red Feather, Wild Horse of Corolla. It's written, the person who wrote the book, the author, Linda Winnington Hurst, and it's illustrated by Aaron E.I. Castile. And the publisher is Laura Whittingham Hurst. So the person that wrote the book also published the book. And I can't wait to share this story with you. I think she might have even found this there. Corolla wild horses. Keep them wild and free. Do you love horses? You're really going to love this story. Here we go. Red Feather was a wild horse. He lived with his herd on the island called the Outer Banks, near the town of Corolla. He was a mahogany bay, and he was beautiful, except for one thing. Half of his left ear was missing. He lost it in a fight with another wild stallion. Everyone on the island said Red Feather was the wildest stallion of the herd. Some even nicknamed him Crazy Horse. Can you guess why? Where are your ears? He's missing part of his left ear. But Red Feather wasn't crazy. He just liked adventure. Red Feather was very smart. He was also very curious. He was not afraid of people. He could not resist going into yards and eating the tasty grass. He especially loved to nibble on the flowers. But nothing was more fun than tipping over trash cans on garbage day. This made lots of people mad. They chased him out of their yard, shouting, "Go away, you garbage thief!" He's a little mischievous, isn't he? Silly horse. Eating morsels out of the garbage cans gave Red Feather his first taste of apples. Red Feather loved apples. Sometimes children would toss him an apple. Whenever Red Feather saw the children, he looked for an apple. One day, he followed some children to the supermarket. When the children came out of the market eating apples, Red Feather learned a lesson. Apples come from supermarkets, not kids. After that day, Red Feather was a regular supermarket customer. When the automatic door opened, Red Feather rushed inside. Then he zigzagged through the store, bypassing the men who tried to shoo him away, while the customers just laughed. Can you imagine a horse coming into your grocery store to get apples? Super silly. Why, if I didn't know better, said the manager, I'd swear that horse had a smile on his face. I think he does. He's so happy. I'm happy when I eat apples too. Are you? Yeah, I love apples too. Just like Red Feather. Red Feather was making a name for himself in Corolla. Both the locals and the tourists loved him. He enjoyed the attention they gave him, as long as they didn't come too close. Sometimes when we're in nature with animals, we want to pet them, but we really shouldn't touch them, should we? No. Yeah. I'm the same. I have to remind myself that too, because I want to pet them too. He loved his home in Corolla, but sometimes he longed to see other places. One morning, Red Feather decided to take a trip. He rounded up his family of mares and headed north. Everything was grand until they came to a tall fence that blocked the way. Red Feather snorted in disgust. Then he reared high and he pawed the air with his hoofs. He trotted up and down the fence line looking for an opening, but there was none. Still, Red Feather would not give up. There had to be a way around the fence after all. An adventure was calling him. He trotted along the fence until he came to the place where the land had ended and the ocean began. Stopping at the water's edge, he looked back at his mares. Would they follow him into the scary waters? Do you think the other horses will follow him? Luckily, horses can swim. I didn't know that, did you? Horses can swim. Red Feather did not dilly-dally. He plunged into the surf, his mares right behind him. The waves were strong, but Red Feather was determined. Around the fence they swam. They scrambled up on the other side and shook themselves dry. Red Feather sniffed the air. Let's go, he whined. Adventure awaits. The little band followed Red Feather as he traveled across the narrow land bridge into Virginia. They had not gone far when they surprised some people on the beach. Although they were wild horses, they were used to tourists on the beaches of Corolla in the summertime. These tourists aren't used to seeing them, right? Soon they found a patch of sea oats, munching and crunching. They forgot about the people on the beach until, vroom, vroom! All of the horses had seen cars and trucks before, but this one was different. It had a big boxy thing attached to it. The truck stopped a short distance from the horses. Men got out of the truck. Red Feather was not afraid, but his eyes followed their every move. The men did not come towards the horses. Instead, they started setting up a portable corral. So like a fencing area. When the corral or the fencing was finished, the men surrounded the horses and drove them into the corral and then into the trailer. Although Red Feather was annoyed, he did not put much of a fight. He was on a new adventure. At first, all of the horses were scared, but they soon discovered that riding in the trailer was fun. They traveled for what seemed like a long time before the truck stopped. Red Feather sniffed the air. It smelled familiar. Pine trees and salty sea scents. They were home again. So that truck that picked them up brought them back to their home. After that adventure, Red Feather and his band became regulars on the Virginia side of the fence. But every time they went to Virginia, the men with the trailer came and carried them back to Corolla. That did not stop Red Feather's adventures. Instead, with each trip, Red Feather grew smarter. He soon learned that while the men unloaded the corral panels, he and his mares had plenty of time to escape. This game was fun. Of all the mares in his band, Cinnamon was his favorite. One brisk April morn, Cinnamon appeared with a newborn colt. Red Feather pranced and kicked up his heels. He nuzzled the colt, then trotted around the dunes proudly. The colt grew fast. He was smart and quick like his daddy, but he looked like his mama. Cinnamon, I like that name, that's cute. As the days grew short and cool, food became scarce. Red Feather remembered the sea oats on the other side of the fence. He decided to take his family north again. There were now 5 mares in his band, and each had a colt or a baby horse. Luckily, even little colts can swim. This time, Red Feather pushed his band further north than ever before. They traveled to the village of Sandbridge looking for food. Instead of dirt paths, there were hard paved roads. They are really on an adventure this time. Cars in Sandbridge were not used to having horses walk across the roads. In a screech of tires, a colt dropped to the ground. It was Cinnamon's baby. A tiny colt was withering in pain and had a large gash on his hip. He was hurt. Red Feather jumped into action. He raced to his colt, teeth bared and his ears flattened against his head. The people in the car climbed out to see what was happening. With a wild stallion standing guard, no one dared to approach the colt. They accidentally hit him. They weren't used to seeing him there. Soon the man and woman arrived with a horse trailer. They unloaded the fence panels and built a portable corral. This time, Red Feather did not try to escape. When the corral was finished, he gingerly stepped over his colt and drove the mares into the pen. Then he allowed the man to touch his baby and dress the colt's wound. He's helping him. He had an owie from the accident. That night, the trailer carried Red Feather and his mares away, but the little colt, Cinnamon, was left behind. Cinnamon went with him, but the colt was left behind. Red Feather knew that his baby needed human help, but he still wanted to be with him. Inside the trailer, he kicked and he fought, but he could not escape. He would have to wait until he got back to Corolla. All night he stayed away, pacing up and down, trying to decide what to do. Before the sun rose the next morning, Red Feather swam around the ocean fence one more time to find his baby. When Red Feather arrived at the accident site, there was no sign of his son, or the trailer, or the man, or the woman. Red Feather pranced up and down the highway looking for clues. By sundown, Red Feather stood with his head hanging down. He nickered sadly. His baby is gone. He doesn't understand. He was about to start back home when he heard the familiar sound of the noisy truck barreling down the beach. He whined and trotted to meet the truck. After the truck stopped, the man and woman got out. "Did you come back to check on your baby?" the woman asked. Red Feather nickered. "We'll take you right to him," the man said. "At the veterinarian clinic. That's where we take sick animals, right?" "Yeah, that's where they took them." Red Feather followed a shrill whinny to the one-horse pens. "Just look," said the woman. "Red Feather's happy to see his baby." And he was. The stallion sniffed his colt from head to hoof, just to make sure he was all right. "I think you've had enough adventure," the woman said, smiling. Red Feather neighed and nodded his head, and he never swam around the fence again. The end. And in this beautiful book, my friends, at the end is a story about the real Red Feather and about the wild horses in Corolla that you can go visit. So if you have a horse lover in your life, this may be the perfect trip for you. And what an absolutely beautiful book from a local author of Red Feather. Thank you so much for reading this story with me. I wanted to thank my executive director for bringing this back and asking us to read this and allowing us to share this with you. Again, don't forget to like tonight's video, and we'll be back with more books. She brought me some more books back about exploring dunes. I'm going to just sneak peek these for you. Exploring dunes and living in the 4x4. And they're written by Bonita Ashby Bertokovic. Yeah. So I can't wait to share that with you. And there's just so much information about the Outer Banks of Corolla that you can find online about these horses. Thank you so much for learning with me, and I hope you have the sweetest sleeps. I love you like crazy, and I'm proud of you. You matter. Good night.